guys. I'm going to switch gears now. But tonight I want to talk a little bit. Who's really dove into these new bundles? Pop it in the chat if you have. So I did the American pricing here, Canadian here, American bottles, Canadian bottles. Although I'll take Modere off of there because we're trying to not. But you guys, there are some new bundles out there. And I know sometimes it's like a bundle gets launched and it's just somewhere on the website and we're not really like on top of it. Okay. But I want to talk because when they launch these bundles, number one, BioCell is my number one selling product. It is also number one in North America. So if you're like brand new and you're listening, pop new in the chat because if you were listening and you're like, oh my God, there's like 300 products and I don't know what to do. If you were to focus your business right here on what I'm going to teach you tonight, you will have success. Okay, you guys, you will have success. These products are all in the top 10 selling of North America, so Canada and the US, all right, and Australia as well. So, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about this. So, the beginning of the month, we launched these two new bundles. So, you guys in the US, you had Life Plus launch. I'm going to flip over to Canada really quick. In Canada, we had never had a two-pack. So, US, we were always jealous. We had never had a two-pack with lower pricing. So, what happened was they launched in Canada a two-pack of Life Plus, our Life Plus, that remember is also a triplex formula and also has immune in it, you guys. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. But we launched this with a lower price. And then in both countries, we launched the next bundle, what's called a Cellular Reset Bundle. So, two BioCell Life with a Vivix, and you can choose your Vivix like how you can like choose your potion. So if you want liquid, if you want the gummies when they're back in stock, or if you want the gel caps. So this one launched. Look at the savings, you guys. So in the US, you save $62.50 on that. In Canada, we save $71.65. So this bundle came out, and I was like, I am so all over this. Then they also launched this BioAGe Reset Bundle, which is phenomenal. It basically targets like 5 of the areas of your health. So not only the joints and the skin and the hair and the nails, the cellular health, you're also getting a 30-day supply of Life Shake, or I guess it's 28 technically, but a month supply essentially of the Life Shake in there, which helps with muscle health, which helps with losing muscle, all of that. And in the US, daily essential vitamins. In Canada, the Vitalizer. So look at the savings on those bundles, you guys. $142 off in the US. In Canada, $207 off. So does everyone know these bundles? I need to see it in the comments. Give me some love in the comments if you know them. So at the beginning of this month, I was like, oh my God, these are insane and they're insanely priced. And I know the success of my client, if I can get them on these products, number one, retention is the highest on BioCell. Vivix is my second highest retention. I knew that if I could start like transitioning and getting my clients on this, I would have bigger sales because they're bigger bundles. So remember, if you're a two-pack BioCell seller and that's all you sell, imagine adding just the middle pack. If half your people did the middle pack instead of just a two-pack, what that would do for your business, okay? So as a team, this is kind of my goal. So at the beginning of this month, I was like, okay, we're going to do a glow protocol. So Andrea and I got together with Michelle and Leslie, and we did the glow protocol, which if you have not watched, you guys can leverage it ongoing. So it is in the boards under what's happening this month. Everything's there, you guys. The slide deck I built, I gave it to you. A flip book, gave it to you. Bundles, they're all like literally everything is there. And what I still see is a lot of our team who's using that. So they'll do a post like in today's time talking about inflammation, talking about all of these things and learning from the words that Andrea and I shared. This is the key. If you're struggling with like sales, you guys, half the battle is knowing what to say and how to say it. And that's where these events come in really, really handy because you can just listen and take notes. And that is how you're going to be able to talk about it. So everything is in that board. So we kicked off the month with that. Then last week I did a live on my wall, which is also on YouTube, which I posted in Telegram with Dr. Phil and I, and we essentially hit the same products. Why, you guys? I want to sell more of these. This is my whole focus this month. Then last week, I also did an in-person event with exactly this. This is all I talked about, you guys, at a launch. So it's a friend of mine who owns a spa. She signed up. Can someone let whoever's waiting in the waiting room, or actually it's iPad, so maybe see. But she signed up, and this is all we focus on. I'm going to talk about this in a second. So I was like this weekend, and we had a lot of success. So my event, yeah, tell me in the comments if you've been selling these packs. You guys, I've been really selling these. I just sold today. I sold the one that has this with the wands to an existing customer because I also do an email campaign every month. And so my email was all about, like, this is all I've been talking about. If you follow me on social, you'll know this is literally all I've been talking about all month is this and reset and inflammation and inflammaging and all of that. That's all of my content. So I launched my new ambassador on Thursday night, and I'm going to walk you through what we did, but I want to give you the results. So we had 7 guests there, 2 were daughters, so they're probably not going to buy. 5 people purchased. This is all I talked about. We sold 2 of these, the big one, 2 of the middle one of the small one. And is that not interesting that we sold more of the larger packs than the small one? So, I mean, it's like I did my job, right? So I'm going to talk about that. So then this weekend, I was sitting there and I was like, knowing that I was training today, I'm like, hey, what do I want to train on, you guys? What I want to train on is this. Like, I want to train. Last month, I did 14,000 in personal sales, which is a lot. And my business truly is here, right here. And so I was like, I'm going to sit down and I think we all know how to sell BioCell. Would you guys agree? Give me a heart or something in the chat. Like we know how to sell BioCell. We know, that the new BioCell Life still has the same active matrix, right? Except then we added those other ingredients in there that make it even more beneficial. We know that Canada has a different formula. We know what we can claim. But then I was like, I want to do the same for Vivix, okay? So, what I did was I built out some tools, which I'm going to run you through tonight. And then I have some guests who are going to share a little bit as well. So, now when you go to product info, and you can look at this later, you don't need to do this now, but when you're in boards and you go to product info, I created an entire Vivix tools folder, you guys. And if you look over here, this is all new. Actually, the videos were old and the podcast was old, but on the white papers, everything else is built out. I built out everything. You name it, it is there. So I'm going to kind of walk through some of what is in there. So the first thing I did is I find that, remember when I built this for you guys for the liquid biocell and everyone was like, oh my God, that's so helpful. Like this is how, if all I knew is to talk about it like this, and I trained like the whole company on it. So I did that with Vivix, you guys. This is in boards too. So you can screenshot it, but it is in boards. So I find that you can get very sciencey with Vivix. And again, Dr. Phil can talk like that. I can't, right? So what I did was like, okay, how can I explain Vivix in a way that normal people can understand it? So it's things like this. Your cells are under attack right now. Every single minute, your cells take over 50 trillion hits from food, pollution, stress, breathing, right? That damage builds up silently. So, this is another really great little soundbite. Most antioxidants guard the door. Vivix guards the whole house. That one I actually really love. I love that one. One grape does what red wine can't. So there's some really great sound bites in here, you guys, so that you at any time can go into the product info, then into Vivix, and you can pull out info that what can you do with this? Number one, you can use it to answer people when you're talking in conversation. Number two, you can create posts around it. You can create content around it. Number three, it just gives you ideas on like how to plan your content. Okay, so that is the Vivix 101, which is essentially like the 6 top sound bites, and then I did more as well that are in boards, which you're gonna love. I'm like really proud. I'm really proud of the board, you guys. Just wait. It is so good. That's all I did all day. Well, not all day yesterday. I hiked as well, but I dove into this because you guys, here's my like vision. We all on this team crush liquid biocell. Like we crush it. I can think of some people that's all they sell. I had a call with Dory the other day, and I was like, Dory, imagine if all of she also has, by the way, I'm going to shout out Dory for a second. She has 80% loyalty in her team. Their whole entire team is 80% loyalty. 80% of their customers stay on loyalty, which is insane. Like we all strive for that. Now, but my thing, I was like, Dory, how can we increase, right? How can we increase your volume? So there's three ways you can increase volume. I'll hit on it. Number one, new volume, new customers, new ambassadors, right? We all need to be why that's why we focus on Star Club so much every month. If you are not getting a Star Club, your business is going to go flat and decline. So one Star Club a minimum, two if you want to grow. So you can increase your volume. Number two, you can increase retention. Well, so when I'm having a mentor call with Dory, she's already 80%. I'm like, okay, that you're pretty good there, right? The third way that you can increase your volume is by increasing your average order size. She has a team that is like diehard BioCell, so a lot of their orders are a two-pack. So I was like, imagine if all of your customers did the cellular reset and what that would do to your volume, right? So the third way we can increase our volume is by increasing your order size. So this is the point. And my goal is that in a month, we have more and more of our customers who transition from a two-pack of BioCell into the cellular reset, or even better, into the BioAGE reset. Okay. So I've also built these out. They're available in both names. So if you want the Glow protocol, if that's your thing, and if it's like if you're a guy, you might not say that. I've got the longevity lineup. I've got both names, but they're the exact same bundles, and that is the entire focus of my business right now. Okay. So let's get back to Vivix. So then what I did is I went, okay, I want to think of content prompts so that if I was sitting down today and I'm going to talk in my stories about Vivix, what are some prompts that I could like give myself a little thing? So I created an entire board of content prompts that are just on Vivix. So, and it's cool stuff, you guys. And again, I will say, like, I like to, like, if you guys didn't watch Dr. Phil and I, he did this like great shoelace analogy of the shoelace and DNA, which I then promptly, because I'm always a student, used at my event on Thursday night. And they all were like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, thank you. I'm so smart, but it was Dr. Phil, right? I always will learn. So I like to, like, again, get like little sound bites like this that I can memorize and I can go, right? So this is a whole entire board of Vivix content prompts. So that at any point you can be like, I'm going to talk about Vivix once a week. I'm going to talk about once a week. So here I can go to the content, I can go to the board, I can go to content prompts, right? So now, when I also have it categorized into four different categories. So when you want to talk about Vivix, and then I also have, just wait, you guys, you can buy me a glass of wine. Resveratrol. um, but then I also have Vivix and BioCell together, which is the cellular reset. I've done all that for this too. Okay. So again, you're going to think of when you're talking of your content could kind of fall into four categories. So personal story and experience. So that's my own, which if you go look, I always will always do what I coach. My post today is all about that. So you talk about again what made you curious about cellular aging, what you learned about it. Like again, you could even say like I watched this cool live video the other night where they talked about DNA as a shoestring and the telomeres was the cap. And you could, do a little thing in your stories about that. If you want the link, drop the word link and I'll send you the video. Right, you guys? Like, there's so many ways that you can use these tools. I was watching this really cool video the other night. It's called the Glow Protocol, and you wouldn't believe what I learned about cellular aging and inflammaging. It is like incredible. Anyone that wants the link, drop the word link. I'll send it to you. Drop the word glow. I'll send it to you, right? So your four categories for writing out captions or your social media content will always be personal story and experience. And when you go to boards, I've got like 4 or 5 examples of each category. So you literally probably have about 50 content starter ideas that I created in boards for you guys. 50, like so many, right? The second category is education and awareness, which I did at my stories tonight. I educated on what cellular aging was. I downloaded, because lingo is hard, I downloaded every single story that they've given us on Vivix, and it's now in boards for you. So I used one of those tonight. Again, like I don't have to recreate the wheel. I did it. You can talk about the product focus. So you're actually going to talk more about the product and ingredients and that kind of thing, what's in it. So what's in Vivix. And then engagement and community. When you think about engagement community posts, you guys, those are always like asking your audience for things. So like, anyone else feel like 80? So I'm starting some of my posts. I use my good friend Victoria Bishop. She always says, she uses the analogy of waking up like the Tin Man, which I thought was so brilliant when I heard her coach this in to all of us in Cancun or Cabo, wherever we were. And so now I use that analogy when I'm talking about it. So again, you could just ask your audience, like, who else here feels like the Tin Man every morning when they wake up? Like simple things. So inside each of these categories, there are like 4 or 5 examples. Okay. There are 4 or 5 examples. So no one should ever tell me, number one, if you are not paying for boards, you're crazy. I'm just going to say it. You're crazy because it is the best library in the world. Okay, you guys. And you're like hurting your business if you don't want to pay for it because it will just make you get so much better. So inside there are all of your content prompts, your social media ideas, literally everything is in there. And I want you to think of this because a lot of times people will say, oh my God, I can't find anything in boards. I get it. But when you walk in, so I coached on this in Ohio, and I was like, when you walk into a library, and that's how I think of boards, you walk into a library and they're organized in all these different sections. Every library is different. Like if I walk into the one in my city and I go to the right, it might be self-help, but I walk in Austin, Texas, and I go to the right, it's going to be something else. I don't know in a new library where to go and where to go find it, but guess what I do? I go figure it out. I start to actually go walk and explore. And it's the same thing with boards, you guys. Open boards, pick a library, pick a little area. And again, if you start at the beginning, you could start in what's happening this month. You could go into, I mean, if it were me, I'd probably be looking at the Vivix library this month right now and seeing all this new stuff I just created for you. And then the key is not looking at it. The key is utilizing it, right? Like, how am I going to do this? And so my social media, you guys, I do the same every week. I do 4 lifestyle, 1 product, 1 business, 1 funny. Okay, so if you're going, I'm going to do a product post this week. Maybe my product post is driven around this. Maybe some of my lifestyle, yes, Michelle, that's a good tip. Maybe some of my lifestyle is driven around inflammation, right? Being tired, the Tin Man, like those kinds of things. So that is all in there. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So then again, remember this, I did the same thing for BioCell. So we have a lot of great things that I created that are in the BioCell Life Plus folder that is at the very top. We haven't even moved that into product yet because it's still so brand new. Canadians, I created a Canadian folder in the BioCell Life so that if you were like, oh, what's ours? It's all there. Everything is there. Okay. So let's keep going on Vivix. I also created conversation starters. Okay. So like, these are things like literally you could be in a room at a cocktail party. These are conversation starters. Like you're sitting around with your glass of wine, right? And you could talk, oh my God, that's the best time to talk about resveratrol. Seriously, right? But you could talk about like, I didn't know that collagen loss started in your 20s. Dude, did you know that? Like I was today years old when I learned that. Like these are all conversation starters that you can use in real life and on social media. And again, every single category, you guys, I've put into boards because the Cellular Reset Bundle is Vivix and BioCell. So I've done conversation starters for Vivix on its own, BioCell on its own, and the combo together that I'm really excited about. So before I switch gears, because now I'm going to I want to go into boards. So I'm going to stop this share. This should be fun. This is always the stressful part. I'm going to just share where to find a couple things, and then I'm going to introduce my guests tonight that I want you guys to hear from because it's someone that actually took some of this information that we've been using and leveraged it. Now, I want you to think about like leverage is a very powerful thing. Like you don't have to go and do all of this. You guys, that's why I'm here. You don't have to go do all this. You don't have to be Dr. Phil. You leverage Dr. Phil. You don't have to be Andrea who just like talks about cellular inflammation like it's like nothing. You leverage that. And so before I get there, I want to just show quickly in boards where some of these things live, okay? But I first got to get up our board and not mine before I switch over because there we go. Okay, give me 2 seconds. So now I'm going to share again boards and I'm going to walk you guys through some of this, okay? God, I hate when that goes there. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to quickly, again, boards. Think of boards as a library, and this is our board. So when you go to your library, you're like, wow, look at all these like great sections they got. What's happening this month? Well, what's in there? All the things that are happening this month, you guys, and anything that's new. So we've got the Drive to Director bonus in there. We've got Cancun in there. We've got the longevity edit, which was our event we did in March that you can still leverage. We've got the glow protocol edit that I was just talking about that Andrea and I did. And I don't know if you guys even know that this is in here, but look at all of this, you guys. Not only are the bundles in there, there's an invite, there's follow up. So if you're going to share this event, there's verbiage on the follow up. There's the actual event that's on YouTube you can send them. There is, oh yeah, I made a flip book. So this is one of my like fun tips. So I took my beautiful slides, like they're so pretty. My VA made them. It was not me. It was my brain and her like creative genius. I took those slides and I put them in here so you could use them. So anyone could use those slides. But then I built a flip book with them. And how I use the flip book is when I'm talking to someone about inflammaging, I'm like, oh, I got this really great flip book you can flip through, and I send them that. And then they actually and they read about it. Another way that I use this information is I built out a 4-week email campaign this month, which again, guess because like you heard me, all I'm talking about is this month. So I took this PDF, I threw it into chat. I use Claude. I threw it into Claude and I said, hey, Claude, help me build out a 4-week email campaign using this information. Work smarter, not harder. And it did, right? So all of this is here in what's happening this month. Okay, so let's go back now to the main board and we're going to go into product info. And look, I moved Vivix right to the top. Okay, so let's just go in here really quick. So I've got a one-liner for you. You're going to save that. So like someone asks you about Vivix, easily something you can say about it that's just like this and not like too much information. I got to move this. I've got the key talking points. This is what you're going to want to read through first before anything. So it talks about the problem, the solution, right? The ingredients, just a couple like key ingredients, the science, like so the 4 scientific things that you're going to want to talk about, how we are quality, right? The flexibility, they can choose whatever form they like, and how simple it is. And then again, the one-liner, Vivix protects your cells from the inside out so they stay healthier longer, and that shows up everywhere in your body over time. So again, the key talking points, how to explain Vivix to anyone. Here we go. All of the stuff that is on this 101, I also put in text so you could just copy and paste it. This is the sound bites. So again, these are little quick sound bites that you could use in your stories. You could, literally hold up you with your Vivix or taking your Vivix, drinking your Vivix, and you could talk about your mitochondria. So you could either talk about these things or you could like copy and paste it out on your reel or on your story as you're talking about it, okay? So let's go back to Vivix. I did a lot of work this weekend. So social media prompts are in here again. There's the education category, product, personal story, engagement. This is a new one. It's like a problem conversation. So like I find that a lot of my content converts if I talk about the problem first. And when I did this in-person event, I did this a lot throughout the night. I'm like, oh my God, has anyone else here in the room feel like you like just gained 10 pounds overnight? And they're like, hands going up. Anyone else wake up like the Tin Man? Hands are going up. So they're self-identifying, right? What the problem, they're self-identified so that I'm like, this is a great solution for you. So again, these are just really great examples of problems that Vivix can solve, okay? Let's go back to Vivix. So I did that for Vivix. I did the exact same thing for the full reset. So for the BioCell and Vivix together, I have the problem solution. I've got concept ideas so that you can just, and again, remember each one has 5 different ideas inside of it. So you're going to want to actually like go in there. I've got personal story lifestyle prompts. I've got engagement, and then I type them all out in a PDF for you as well, just in case. I've got the science. Canada and the US. I don't know if they're different, but I put both in there just because. Social info, if you want to have some really great little graphics from the corporate lifestyle, we've got them categorized into gummy, liquid gel. Story flows, this is all brand new. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 different story flows. just on Vivix, you guys, that you can go in and you can use, and they're beautiful. So again, I think this is the one I used today. So these are all in here. So again, there is literally nothing that isn't in here. We have a couple testimonials, but of course we're going to want more as we get going and we'll build that. Papers are there, videos. So you name it, you guys. Now I'm going to quickly go back to our main one, and I'm going to show you before I transfer over where to find in person, because now I also did an in-person event, but I just want to show you while I have boards here where to find that. So if you were looking for any business types of things, like how do I do an event? How do I share la 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 la? That will always be in the business and opportunity resource board, because look at all the business and opportunity resources. So then again, if I want to talk about events, I'm going to go to host events. And there's virtual, there's messenger mixers, thanks to Shelly and Thomas, and there's in person. So obviously the one I did was in person. So if you were looking for anything I'm talking about tonight, you're going to find it right here in the Glow Protocol event. Okay. So now I'm going to stop my share. And before I talk about the event, I want Diane and Michelle to unmute, or I might have to ask you to unmute. So before we get started, now, and there is a search bar in boards. Yes, you guys. And if you don't have it, you need to refresh. So the first thing, you guys, I want these guys to share, because I actually had breakfast with them in Ohio. They drove in to have breakfast, which was wonderful. And then I got the friendliest Uber ride from them to the airport ever. So we got to have breakfast together, and we really got to kind of like strategize a bit, talk about their business, talk about what we had going on. And yesterday, Diane sent me a message, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Jen, I sent your Glow Protocol replay," because I was like, leverage the replay, leverage to, I think it was a sister-in-law. I'll let you tell the story. And it's, again, it's the whole idea of leveraging someone else's story, leveraging a tool that's not necessarily you, and how you can get results. And so she shared this, and I promptly turned around and said, "Hey, will you speak tomorrow night?" She's like, "Ah," and I said, "That's the danger of sharing your wins." Is that sometimes
Absolutely.
I love to have people share. So, quick before you share that, how long you guys have been in the industry, and then give us like a bit of that story that you shared with me.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Diane Weissart. This is my wife, Michelle, and we have been in this industry for 12 years. So a long time. And we just came on board with Shackley about a year ago when our previous company up and closed their doors. And we were searching for a new home and looking for a new wellness company. And we were invited to hop on a call to listen to Roger. And once we heard him speak, we immediately knew we had found our new home. So, and we have been so happy here. Love the products. We love Roger. We love the company. Love the leadership. Everything has been fantastic. So, anyways, we were having a virtual event, and my sister-in-law was not able to get on, and I was like, no problem. I know it's a busy time of year, and I offered to send her a replay, and I sent her the replay of Jen and Andrea's Glow protocol. And I have been working on my sister-in-law for years to get on the BioCell. And she watched that video and she messaged me back and she said, "I'm ready. I'll take the 2 pack of Life Plus."
I love it. So what do you think? What do you like? I mean, I always share the story of my own mom, you guys. My own mother, like, gave birth to me and doesn't listen to me. But I had always shared about BioCell with my mom. But it was, for my mom, it was a post of some lady's hands in one of our big ATM groups years ago that sold my mom on BioCell. Like, what do you feel? Like, is it because it's someone outside of you that it's a different voice? Like, do you have any input on that?
Yes, I absolutely think so because my mom also has been on BioCell for as long as I have, and which is 7 years. And um, we have both drilled into her that she should be taking the BioCell. And so I do think that hearing it from someone else gave it third party credibility. And it's like I was a teacher for 35 years, and when you hear it differently from someone else too, sometimes it just clicks, and I think that is what happened with her.
I love it. I love it. And sometimes I think too, because, they got to hear Leslie's story. So it's like not just one person's talking about it, two people, but then Leslie when she shared her story, which is pretty powerful. Okay, and then you had another win. Share, I'm just trying to go back to the
Yes.
message. Yeah, share that.
Yeah, so there was another lady that I also sent her the replay of the Glow protocol, and she messaged me back and she said, I'm ready to commit for 90 days. And I know that you really push that 90 days. If you're going to do it, let's go all in. And so today I got her signed up with the BioCell and the Vivix, and she's ready to go.
I love it. Oh, it just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So, you guys, again, what I hope you hear from this story, and you guys are doing an in-person event coming up too, right?
Yes, we have an in-person coming up with our chiropractor.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So, we might have to have you on again to share.
Okay.
And is there anything else you would give a tip to someone who's like, was there a way that you introduced it to them? You're just like, hey, watch this, like, take a peek.
Well, just because we were doing our virtual event and they weren't able to get on, it was a perfect way to segue into that. Well, no problem. I have a replay if you're interested in watching that. And of course, they couldn't say no to that. They could say no to I'm not available to come to the virtual
True.
event, but it's hard when you can just watch the replay at any time. So,
True. So I think that's a good tip for everyone, right? Like with any event, whether it's your own hours, they can't come on like to really follow up because if you hadn't have followed up either, they'd never have watched it.
oh yeah, definitely the follow-up is key.
I
In
love
planning
it.
the event, invite follow up the day before, follow up the day of, follow up afterwards. Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Love it. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna unpin you first. Okay, I'm gonna go back now. So I want to talk about my launch on Thursday night. So background, so you understand the story. So uh, this is a friend of mine. I have known her for well, a business friend of mine, right? We've hung out like the odd time, but business friend. So I was one of her clients for literally we were trying to remember like 12 or 13 years. I am like the most loyal client in the world. Once you got me forever. And so she is an esthetician. She does lashes. She does like microneedling is my favorite treatment from her. And so I've been going to her for 12 years, you guys. And I remember years ago when I started with Modere, and I started drinking BioCell, and she would say things like, your skin is like really good. And it'd be like, for your age kind of thing, right? She's like, no, Jen, like most women I see, their skin is not as juicy is a word she uses. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. Or bouncy, spongy. And so it was maybe 4 years ago. And somehow, like, when you're laying there, you talk about everything. And we started talking about gums. And she's like, yeah, my gums have really been bothering me. I'm like, oh my God, I had the worst gums. Like, I actually was scheduled. This is my gum story, you guys. If you don't know it, I'm going to share it. But I was actually scheduled for, so I had braces as like 20-year-old, and braces actually shorten your root a bit, which my dentist told me years later. And so I was having a lot of, when I hit kind of perimenopause, I was having all of the issues like the puffiness, the bleeding gums, all the things. The day I started taking liquid biocell, I was scheduled for periodontal surgery and I couldn't cancel it because you had to like pay them a stupid amount of money if you canceled. Because just started with Modera. So I literally was drinking biocell. I went in and they did the half of my mouth. So this half of my mouth, but I was started drinking biocell. I had no idea what it would do for the gums. Okay, you guys. And in Canada, on our bottle, it actually talks about gums. So this is a benefit. You guys maybe can't claim it the same way we can, but you can sure say in Canada. So anyway, started taking it at the 2 week mark. I was supposed to go back so that they could take out my stitches. Well, I'd pulled out my own stitches because they were healing really good. And I was like, well, just pull them out because it's a pain in the butt. And like back to normal. Like I was like good to go. So then I'm supposed to go in for the other side of my mouth. And it's like actually a very painful, like they take gum from the roof of your mouth and put it on it's terrible. Like it's terrible. So I'm supposed to go back and I'm not really, and it cost me like 3,500 bucks. So I'm not really wanting to go through this whole procedure again. So I was back at my dentist and I'm like, my gums are like not bleeding. They're not puffy. Like they're really good. And he did this little measurement that they do, and my gums were like before BioCell were like five, six, and sevens, like deep. I'm back to like twos and threes. And in the almost 9 years since I've been taking BioCell, I've never had the other side done, you guys, which is like my win. And so then when I kind of dove into it and I saw what it did, I was like, it's incredible. So one day laying on her bed, I share this story and because she was like experiencing gum issue. And again, I was like, dude, you should try this. So she started taking it as a client. Now she's been in a car accident. She's a lasher. So they're like a ton of these women have like back problems, hand issues because they're bent over all day long doing this. So she started taking it and she realized that her fingers, her arthritis in her fingers started feeling better. And again, she took it for her gums. It wasn't for that. So fast forward, she never was in the business. She was a client here and there. And a month ago, she's like, I think I want to do this with you. Like, I've watched you for this long. And I'm like, okay, if we're going to do it though, we're doing it right. Like, we're launching you and we're doing like a killer launch. So she's like, I'm your student, whatever kind of thing. So I'm going to give you what we did for her launch, you guys. So we had, again, 7 people there. Two were daughters, so they're kind of out for purchasing. Two BioAge edits, two cellular resets, and one two-pack of BioCell. So good, better, best. So we sold two, two, one, which this is the power in that. So I'm going to walk you through what we did and the event because it was simple. It was an hour long, and it's now how I'm going to do like all of my events moving forward, knowing this. Okay. Now I just want to like preface if you guys, I am a big seller of these products. I don't sell a ton of weight loss in my business. It's just not my jam. So again, like Wayne always talks about find your hedgehog. If your hedgehog is weight loss and you're having like weight loss launch parties and they're doing amazing, you don't necessarily need to switch. But for those of you where you're like, I feel like this could be my hedgehog, I want to show you again. I'm going to go back and show you what we did, and it's all in boards too. Okay, wait, before I go there, I got to get my thing up. Okay. Thank you for answering questions too in the chat, you guys. Okay, I'm going to go back. So, again, we do her launch. So, we prepped it first of all. Okay, here we go. We're back. Okay, so the first thing when you're going to do anything, to me, how you prepare, how you present it, how you talk about it is everything. So she runs a beautiful spa. She's an esthetician. And I'm like, hey, we are making you beautiful invites. Like there's none of this like hokey stuff. It's going to be pretty. The Canva template is in the event thing that I did so that you can all take it, make your own stuff. So we did the invite over here that she sent out to everyone. And then I had 3 little tile story flow that I shared and she shared. And I had to coach, right? You have to like coach them. I'm like, you need to share this about every second or third day. So she would do that in her stories so that again, when people were coming, now I will say her event was a paid event. So you're going to see a charge on here. Why she does that is she's done these paid events in the past and she gives them a goodie bag that's worth quite a bit more with some of her product, skincare. So that's why she wanted to stay with this. But again, a normal one, you wouldn't necessarily charge for it. So we started with this. So this is key. Like how you invite is everything. And again, you can kind of see it sets the tone for like a professional, beautiful event. It's not just some like, this is some weird MLM, presentation. Like it was, we set the tone. So then what we did, and all of this is also in boards, is I sent her all of this ahead of time. So I had her print everything out. I printed out the before and afters. So huge thank you to Michelle, Allison, and April, because I use their before and afters all the time. So I printed these out at Staples, so the quality is good. So full size with one of the pretty picture frames. So you could either do a picture frame or like a nice acrylic stand. Then we also printed out this really simple how Vivix works. And again, I'm in Canada, so it's the Liquid BioCell Life Canadian version. Now, you guys remember, you would just go to the Liquid BioCell Life Plus, and there's the US versions of this as well. So she actually has this now, these permanently in her salon with the products, so they look really nice all the time. So then we just set up some simple stations. And again, the whole entire event, we were focusing on Vivix, BioCell, the BioAge edit. So I got there. And we're gonna shout out Jody. So Jody made this beautiful graphic. Thank you, because we used it. And we basically wanted to tie in protein at the end. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this. So the event started. She welcomes everyone. And then we get going, and she made her mom's a like a naturopath, so she made this like wellness juice with turmeric and stuff, and we all had some of that. And she basically just talked about taking care of your skin and how some of the treatments she does, and she educated on that. And then she transitioned into her story of why she started with BioCell, her gums. Then she shared her story about the hands. And then basically, we're here to just educate you all on what inflammation does and what inflammaging can look like in your body over time. So then it was like introduced me. So when it introduced me, we served a BioCell Vivix mocktail. So again, we serve them in really pretty little champagne glasses. So a shot of BioCell, teaspoon of Vivix with some sparkling water, some bubbly, something like that. So we shared that. So we handed out the little drinks, and then I said, "Okay, you guys, before you drink this, because it's delicious, I want to just share a little bit about what's in your glass. It's not just like a mocktail. It's like massive for your inflammation." So then I started with Vivix. I talked about Vivix, and again, all of those sound bites, you guys, that's how I talk about the product. I do camp out a little bit on the science. I use Dr. Phil's shoelace. I found a shoelace in my house. I use that example, which is brilliant because everyone gets it. Um, then I transitioned into BioCell and talked about BioCell. I'm not going to cover all of that, you guys. And then we drank our mocktail. And they're all like, "Oh my God, this is so good." Because it is. It's freaking delicious. Like, it is delicious and yummy. And I think a lot of times people think of like things that they're going to drink, it's going to taste crappy, right? So delicious. They loved it. Then I said, "Would you guys all like to try what BioCell?" Like I said, so you could drink it in a mocktail like this, or first thing in the morning, you just do it as a shot. And they're like, "A shot?" And I'm like, "The good kinds of shots." So then I said, "Who would like to do shots?" So then we basically all had a BioCell shot. Okay. And then I transitioned and I said, "So, before we kind of like finish off tonight, I just want to talk a little bit about protein." And so I said, like, who in the room here struggles getting their protein? And again, every woman in that room, their hand went up. Why? Because we all struggle with it. And I said, "Who here, maybe you gained 10 pounds overnight, or it felt like it was overnight, and you don't really know why?" Hands go up. Who here? And so again, ask these questions for them to like identify with what I was talking about so that when I transitioned into the selling part of it, I actually wasn't selling. Okay. So, they've identified now, like, I struggle with the weight gain. I struggle with protein. I struggle with inflammation. I struggle with my joints. So the whole time they're like, "Yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me." Okay. So then we talked about the protein. We had our energy ball that are delicious. So it was a great way to kind of like segue into the protein component of the BioAGE Reset. Okay. And then I just talked about the vitamins very simply as, who here, you walk into like a health food store and you stand looking at those shelves of supplements and vitamins, and it's just like chaos and confusion. And they're like, "Oh my God, me." I'm like, "Okay, that's why this package I'm going to share with you, it's literally a strip. It's all done for you. You can do it based on your age and your needs. It's all done for you. And it's part of one of the bundles that we're going to talk about tonight, but it's so simple." And I said, "Who likes simple?" And again, they're identified. So then I handed out, this is the key. You have to have a set sheet, they're called. So my like start in this industry was doing parties, you guys, and I'm very good at doing parties. And I will tell you, you need a set sheet. However, you do not hand the set sheet out until the very end of the party because people will look at it and prejudge. So after we're done everything, so they've drank their mocktail, they've done their shots, they've had their little wellness drink that she brought. They're like loving everything, finished their protein. I'm like, "Okay, now is the time. I'm going to hand out some set sheets." So I built out, I have US as well, you guys. We just use the Canadian one for this, but I have both in again, that folder that I talked about. So when you open the Canva link, I think Canada might be first, US is next. So this was it. So we have the order form that's two-sided, was on the back. Thank you, Jody, because that's hers that I borrowed for this. So I called it the longevity lineup. Why? Because again, the whole night I talked a lot about longevity as well. So upgrading your biology. Again, I don't know, the whole theme of the event was kind of like that. And it's sort of like it transitioned so well. So I said to you guys, we've tried a lot of things tonight, but really it comes down to like, essentially people that are in the room are either like already healthy and you're here to like level it up, or you're just confused. You're confused when you go into the store. I said, so my job is to help with that. So then I went through the bundles and I literally hit on 3 bundles. So the first bundle that we tried tonight is that liquid biocell. So you can buy it as a 2 pack. It's a great start. And if your number one focus was the joints and you're not as concerned with cellular aging, and when you say that, they're like, but I am, right? When you're not as if you're not concerned with cellular aging, but they're like, but I am, right? So then it leads into the next one. So then the middle one, I said, like, again, this one is what I sell a lot of. And this works both inside and out. It's foundational and cellular. I said, you're getting everything in here. And we just introduced this at this amazing low price. So that's the other key. I hit on the savings. So I'm like, you guys, this package is $71 off. It's incredible. Okay. So then I talk a little bit about that. And then I said, but now if you love those protein balls and you, again, you're like struggling with the vitamins, then I would highly recommend the BioAGe Reset because you're going to get 30 days of your protein needs. You can make it in a shake. You can do it, in yogurt. You could do it in the protein ball, plus your vitamin package that's specific for you. And that's this package. And oh my God, the savings is $207. And they're just like, wow, right? So then I have the little add-ons on the bottom, which are essentially everything that's in the top things, you guys. So that for the people that want to do the math, because they're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just get this one and this one. And then they do the math. They're like, well, crap, I may as well get that middle bundle, right? So this is key. There's a method to this madness. This was key. I did throw on sparkling protein in there, and I'll tell you why. Again, for the protein needs. Plus, what I did though with that is I said that anyone, this is her launch. I said, anyone, I said, I've also brought a little gift from me. So anyone that orders tonight, you fill out your order form, we'll do it later. You're going to get to go home with a little goodie bag from me, and in it is one of these sparkling proteins. And now remember, they're looking at the price and they're like, dang, that's a good gift, right? So I had a sparkling protein and I had 3 packets, like Up and Glowing, whatever I had in my drink drawer that I had lots of, I threw those in. So that was the key is anyone that does their order tonight, because I wanted to get her those wins right off the get-go. You get to go home with this little goodie bag. So again, that's why sparkling is on here, because then they were like, wow, that's a great gift. So again, 5 people ordered on the spot. The only ones that didn't were the 2 daughters who aren't going to order anyway because they were kind of there as support. So then what happened is they just filled this out. They circled what they wanted. They filled out the order form. They left it with us. So then there was no pressure. We were able to like slow down. I was able to coach her, show her how to do her orders at the end of the night. Again, then the next phase is like teaching her how to do the follow-up. Because again, remember, if you're launching someone, this is like so foreign to them. So I'm like, this is what you're going to say now. And then this morning, I'm like, have you sent out your follow-up messages? She's like, no, I was so busy this weekend. I'm like, okay, send them out. Like I typed it, you need to just send it, right? Now, the next stage, which I'm going to help her with, is the follow-up for these products, right? Because we know you need to follow up. You need to reinforce their buying decision. You need to like make them completely fall in love. And the one thing also throughout the night, like Diane said, like I hit on the 90 days so hard, you guys. I'll actually say, you guys, if you can't commit to 90 days, I wouldn't start now. And then they're kind of like, really? And it's funny when we were in Ohio too, a lot of the older, the centurions and the legends that are here, I've done some trainings for their teams on BioCell, and they all came up and they're like, you told me 90 days. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But again, when you say it like that, these people, they're not objecting to loyalty. Why? They're ready to be on it for 90 days. One of them started following me on Instagram, and that's what she said. She says, I'm really excited to see the end of my 90 days. I'm coaching again my new ambassador. Like, this is what you need to send now. Like, tell them to take their before picture. Like, all of those things that we do, because launching them is one thing, but like helping them with their follow up and helping them with the rest of that is the rest of this. So, this entire thing, I'm going to stop my share now, is also in boards. When you go to, right, where did I show you guys? And remember, you can also search by it. So that is, you guys, I wanted to try and hit as much of that as I could, but that is my gift to you all, for you all to feel confident to talk about Vivix, to feel confident to talk about the cellular reset, to like get it so it's part of you. I met again when we were in Cancun, Cabo, when we were in Cabo, we were there early for this Masters weekend, and it's interesting because Amber Kuiper, She's a really great girl, and we got to spend some time with her. And she just sent me a message. She goes, like, I just thank you because that weekend, because she hadn't really wasn't into BioCell Life yet. And she said, your passion and your conviction for this product is why I bought it and why she launched it like hardcore with her team. And she said it just, and she goes, and everyone's doing it for 90 days. But it made me realize that so the point to that story is it made me realize like we're all that passionate and convicted about BioCell, correct? Give me some thumbs. Yeah, we are. We need to be equally passionate and convicted and sharing this product because number one, it is going to like everyone is going to stay on it. I haven't stopped taking it and I'm not going to stop taking it. It's going to give people even better results. It's going to increase your business, right? It's going to increase your business. It's going to increase your retention. It's going to increase. So it's going to like hit all three levers. It's going to increase new business. It's going to increase retention, right? And it's going to increase average order size. So this is why I like all weekend hit this hard, you guys. But I promise you, if you make this, now the key is the call to action tonight is I challenge every single one of us to do one in-person event this month, which is June. One. It can be an open house in your house. It can be a pop-up combined with someone else, right? Like in a spa, it could be in a gym, wherever. But my challenge is to do one. Cindy Kaliba on my team did an open house with like 2 days notice in her house, two new customers. Because social media is hard sometimes to get two new customers just like that, unless you have a massive following, right, you guys? But you know what? When you have people in your home and they're trying these products, every single woman walked out of there buying those products. And after we were done, Arnica, my new ambassador, she said, like, you're not selling it. I'm like, well, thank you. That's really good. It made me feel really good. She goes, you just like educate and then people want to buy it. And I said, exactly. So I hope that tonight this gives you all the confidence, the tools, right? There's so many tools now. Like Sam says, for the love of God, open the suitcase. There's so many tools that you have. And my challenge to you all is to book an in person for the month of June, right? Book an in person, use some of the tools that we have, and to start sharing. Like when you're talking about BioCell, bring Vivix in there. Like it's just part of your it's second nature now. When you're talking, you talk about both as the bundle and really start to watch your sales increase. My goal is that I'm converting all of my BioCell customers into the Cellular Reset Bundle. All right, you guys, it is 6:30. I'm going to let you all go. I appreciate you all. Thanks, Michelle and Diane, for sharing. And again, I hope that you all will leverage just because, the events are done, you can still leverage them over and over and over. I saw my friend Donna Ham just talked about the Glow protocol today and said, drop Glow for the link. So you can still leverage that. All right, you guys, happy Memorial Day. Thank you.